matter, what does the D stand for? Division. And what does the M stand for? And why did I group them together? So there's a special deal with D and M. Doesn't matter what order, as long as you do them after E. What order do we typically do them?
Left to right.
Left to right. So we do all the B's first, then we do the E's. Then we don't care D and M's, we do them together left to right. A stands for? S stands for? And why are they grouped together? Same thing, left to right. So the Americans actually use the acronym PEMDAS. So why the P and not the B? I just told you. What does the P stand for? Parentheses. And why do they say PEMDAS? Yeah, and does it matter with the D and M? No. So if you're ever looking at a website, you go to order of operations and you see PEMDAS, you're like WTH. It's the exact same thing as ours. We use just a different acronym. So all we're going to do is look at just evaluating expressions. And let's highlight that word evaluate. We talked about that at the beginning of the unit. What does evaluate mean? So we're looking for a single number at the end. We're not looking for an expression. We're not looking for something with x's. We're looking for a number. You might want to have your calculator out because that's going to save you some work for these larger exponents. Hey, I'm going to show you the wrong way to do this question, and someone is going to do it, but I'm going to wait until Cam puts away his phone. Okay, you probably want scientific, so you probably want it sideways. Here's the wrong way to do the question, and it's up to you. Some people don't like wrong ways in their notes. Some people like to have that so that they don't do it. Someone is going to do this, 6 to the 4. And then they're going to grab their calculator and do 6 exponent 4 and get an answer. That is wrong. Why is it wrong? Because I have to do a bracket first, and after the brackets, I have to do the exponents. What did I choose to do first there? Multiplication. Okay, so that's a wrong way to do this question. Someone's going to do it because the 2 and 3 come first, and it looks like we should multiply, but that's why we have our order, so everybody does it the same. So I'm going to leave the 2. I need to go into the brackets first. I need to do everything in the brackets before I can multiply by the 2. This would be a calculator question. I wouldn't expect you to know 3 to the 4 without. So we practiced earlier in the unit, so flip back where it talks about using your big boy calculator, and we wrote down the specific key for our calculators. So if you can't remember, just jog your memory by looking at that. So get 3 to the 4 however it works on your calculator. So whether it's the y to the x to the y, x to the n, x to the box, hat key, caret key, exponent key. You're doing 3 to the 4 on your calculator. Somebody make me an offer? Someone that sounded confirmed all at the same time. And then the second step is just to multiply by 2. So 2 times 81. This we would expect without a calculator. This we would expect without a calculator. What the? So do 80 times 2 and 1 times 2. And if you can't do 80 times 2, do 8 times 2 and then add the 0. So what's 8 times 2? 16. Add the 0 gives you 160. What's 1 times 2? 2. So we have 160 and 2, smush them back together, 162. Just out of curiosity, calculate for me 6 to the 4, and we'll see how far off it would have been had we done it the wrong way. 1296. So 1,296. Huge difference between these. This is baking your cake at the regular temperature of 375. That would be baking your cake at 4 times that temperature. How's your cake going to turn out? Yeah, probably crispy and yucky. That's why we have an order. It's just so everybody's doing it the exact same way. Letter B. What we're going to do first is number. So what would we do first? So we go inside the brackets first. Is there anything we can do inside the brackets to simplify? So brackets aren't actually going to be first for this one because there's nothing I can do inside the brackets. What comes after B? E. So where I'm going to actually go first in a second is that 2 to the 3. What would I do after the exponent? Well, the brackets are actually a symbol for what operation? So this is a multiplication, so that would be step number 2. And the very last step would be the addition, the plus 5. So I'm going to keep the 5, I'm going to keep the addition sign, I'm leaving a space, and I'm going to keep that 4 in brackets. I'm keeping everything except that 2 to the 3. 2 to the 3 you would be expected to do without a calculator. So 2 times 2 times 2, 8. Now I'm going to keep the 5, I'm going to keep the plus sign, I'm doing the multiplication first. 8 times 4. And the last step, adding it together, 5 and 32. Let's go to C. Inside the brackets first. Is there anything we can do inside the brackets? So we're done the B. What's going to come next? The exponent. What comes after E in bed mass? And where is the multiplication in here? Yeah, the 16 times the 3 will be the multiplication. Next we would do? The subtraction would come first and the addition would come last. Why does the subtraction come first? Because it's left to right. 4 to the 4 would be a calc question. Offer of 256. Looking for confirmation. Sounds like it confirmed already. Next, we're going to do this multiplication. So I'm going to leave the 256. I'm going to leave that negative. I'm going to leave a space and leave my plus 8. So I haven't touched anything else except I'm going to do that multiplication. 16 times 3. Offer of 48. What comes after the multiplication? The subtraction. I'm going to just move off to the side because I'm running out of room here. So I'm going to leave that plus 8 at the back. I'm not touching it yet. I'm just going to do the 256 minus 48. Offer of 208. Confirmed. And the last step, 208. Offer of 216, and that sounds confirmed. Is there really anything different from last year? We're just adding in the exponent piece. D. Brackets first. Go inside the brackets. Is there anything I can simplify? So I'm done B. What's going to come next? Exponent's going to be the first thing. After the exponent, the multiplication. And remember, brackets are a secret way of doing multiplication. And the last thing is going to be the addition. So I'm keeping the 12, I'm keeping the plus sign, I'm leaving a space, and I'm keeping that minus 2 in brackets. The only thing I'm going to change is I'm going to take out 6 cubed and I'm going to put in 216 with a question mark kind of at the end. Confirmed. Next, I'm going to do that multiplication. So I'm going to leave the 12. What's that negative going to have to do with it? Well, it's not a subtraction. It's just a positive times a negative. And what's a positive times a negative? Negative. And then 216 times 2? 432. And the last step is whatever's left. So 12 minus 432. Negative 420, I heard somebody say. Confirm? E, I don't want you to do it. I just want you to turn and talk for 30 seconds, discuss the order. What will you do first? What will you do second? What will you do third? Oh, Cam, that was gross. Okay, turn back. What are we doing first? We are doing the exponent first. And then we are doing the brackets, but what are we going to call it? Multiplication. Why aren't we doing B first? because there's nothing in the b we can do. It's already simplified. Okay, 5 times 5 times 5. So the easiest way to do 25 times 5 is imagine you have 5 quarters. If you have 5 quarters, how many cents do you have? Then it's just a straight up 125 times 2. Did we use a calculator? So you might want to note that's an example of a non-calc BEDMAS question. F, turn and talk, again, just the order. Don't do it yet, just talk about what order you're going to do it in. Turn back. What are we going to do first? What are we going to do first? Focus back. What are we doing first? And then? So I'm keeping the 6. I'm keeping the subtraction. All we're going to do is swap out 3 to the 3. Again, non-calc. We would expect you to know 3 times 3 times 3. That's 3 to the 4. 6 minus 27, again, without a calculator, you should be able to subtract 27 from 6. Kind of. There's another example of a non-calc BEDMAS question.
Wait, if you just looked at it like that, like 6 minus 27, oh, it'd be negative 21.
Turn to your partner. This time you're going to do G and H together, and then we'll talk. So I'll give you about 3 minutes. I'm sensing you're ready to talk. G, there's 2 exponents, so what do I do first? Either one. Do them both in the same step. What's 2 to the 6? What's 6 squared? Oh, you can't see that. Thank you. What's 6 squared? Add them together. Who got that one correct? High five someone with their hand up. High five. What are we doing first in H? Brackets. So I'm keeping 5 to the 3. I'm keeping the negative 6. I'm just going to swap out my 2 cubed, which is 8. What's the second step? 5 cubed is? Third step, multiplication. And the last step, subtraction, which gives us, who got 77? High five someone with their hand up again. We're going to move on to a little bit higher order thinking skills. So it's good just to do the questions, but it's even harder to try to find the mistake in a question. So calc's down for now. Let's take a look at this one. The following work was marked wrong. Identify the error and correct it. So the best way to identify and correct an error is actually to do the question yourself. Because when you go to do it yourself and you don't look at their work, sometimes it makes you, or helps you find out what's wrong. So let's just pretend this was the question and we were going to do it just like we did every other question. Where would we start? Brackets, which in the brackets we're going to do the exponent first. So we're going to keep the 5 and we're going to swap out 8. And then we're going to do the multiplication, which is? So we've actually done the correction part. Now we just need to find what did this person do wrong. So what did they do that we didn't do? So what order did they do it? They did multiplication and then the exponent. back to your nice partner, do number 3. So I'll give you about 5 minutes for this one.
I didn't actually get all the videos. I get half.
Number 1, what did they do incorrectly? Yep, they did 3 times 2 and 4 times 3. What should they have done for 3 squared? Which is? And what should they have done for 4 cubed? 64. 9 times 64. Sorry, 5. That sounds confirmed. B, what did they do incorrectly? Yeah, did they get the 0 exponent law? 8 to the 0 equals? 5 cubed is? Adding we get? Here you might need to do some work to try to figure out what they've done first. So let's start with doing 3 cubed. 27. 2 to the 4. And 5 squared. Now it might be a little bit easier to see what they did. They did subtraction before multiplication. So they put the cake in the oven before they mixed the ingredients. We need to do the multiplication first, so 16 times 25. $27 minus 400. Offer of negative 373. Again, this one you might want to start first before we see what they did. 3 to the 4. 2 to the 5. 6 cubed. So what did they do first? They did multiplication before brackets. We're going to do the brackets first. So 81 minus 60 or minus 23, 32. We'll try that again. 81 minus 32. Confirm 49. 49 times 216.
10,500.
That sounds confirmed. Questions? This will not be on the quiz on